Hi, Coach. Welcome.
Hi, how you doing, MD? I'm
Nice
doing
to
okay.
Thank you for being here. Really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to interview you. This is awesome. So, can you tell everybody about yourself?
My name's Orlando. I'm a Orlando Sanders Jr. I'm a pro fighter. My record is 1-1 as of right now. Uh, and I will be fighting next week, this Saturday, March 11th, on Peak Fighting Championships. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, that's
Wow,
me.
that's great. So how is it? How's you know, the the preparation for the fight? I know you are very disciplined. You work hard. You always have a positive energy.
Yeah.
So, so how is it? You know, is it you good?
Yeah, so like basically this whole camp off. So I had a pretty long camp. I had like 8 weeks to get prepared for this.
Okay.
Um and uh and I have to make 165 pounds. I'm dreading that right now, but I'm cool with it, you know what I mean? I'm happy. But I yeah, that's
So
about it.
are you there? Did you get to the 165 pounds or are you still working on it?
I'm still working on it. So I'm about like 175, I think we're 176 right now. So 10 pounds to go, nothing, pretty, yeah,
Wow. Wow, that's
yeah,
good. That's good. So I'm happy to have you here because we just have those big fights yesterday.
yeah,
So we had John Jones, Cyril Gain, and then Valentina Shevchenko and Alexa Grasso. So what's your
yeah,
thought on that? Let's start with the ladies first and see,
yeah.
what
All
you
right.
think about those fights.
So Shevchenko, I believe, was lost the first round.
Hmm.
And these two women are probably the best. They are very, like, they are the best in the world as of right now, especially Shevchenko,
Right.
Valentina. Um, And Alexa Grasso's are really boxing heavy. She's good. She's good with her jiu-jitsu, but usually she's a really good finisher whenever she gets in those spots. So that really came out in the
Yeah.
actual fight. So basically, Valentina came out and she was like very tentative at first, and then she came in and just kind of like, I'm gonna try this, and then next thing you know, she lost the first round. So I felt like she lost,
Hmm.
but maybe she did, maybe she did. But the second round, she started to pick it up, you know what I mean? And then it was all her until the fourth round, you know? So it was like every time Alexa Grasso would switch to southpaw, she would be a
Hmm.
little bit slower and she would be like a little bit more like tighter, right? In her natural stance, the orthodox, she's a lot more looser and ready to move.
Right.
And every time she would switch, Valentina would um, be on that like water and rice, good jab, good leg kicks on the inside and stuff like that. And then she started mixing her takedowns and kind of looking like she's gonna pull away from the fight.
Right.
And next thing you know, fourth round, she tries something that she didn't do in the first 3 rounds, and then she hit a spin kick, and man, that is for a person that loves jujitsu. I really love, I really love when somebody tries to spin or just give me their back.
Hmm.
And that's exactly what Alexa Grasso did. She took like grabbed her, took her back right away, and put her hooks in, got the seatbelt.
Hmm.
Next thing you know, she went hand to hand
Hmm.
on the rear naked choke, and then next thing you know, she was over. It was over the chin, so I was like, oh
Oh,
man,
wow.
this is dangerous. So after she switched over the chin,
Hmm.
all she did was squeeze a little, man. Man, that Mexican spirit, man, you cannot
Wow.
count her out, you know?
Wow. That's a big surprise, right?
Yeah, that's
So what
huge.
so what is that move? Is that a choke? What did she do?
So uh that move right there was just basically a classic back take. When she spun, she grabbed the hips, hands, and then she climbed up to the back and hopped on her back.
Hmm.
Notice she didn't close her feet, she didn't cross her feet or anything like that. She just stayed really tight
Hmm.
into a seatbelt. So seatbelt is one over the head and
Right.
then one under the arm. And
Hmm.
then she was holding on, and then as she had that like little transition towards the ground, she went to a hand-to-hand uh in a hand-to-hand rear naked choke. So
Mhm.
usually a person can just kind of like squeeze there and maybe they'll get the tap, but Valentina's very good. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? So like as you're there, she just switched. And when she switched, and she's over the chin, that's okay. You could as long as your chin is up and she's pushing that arm,
Mhm.
or chin is down and pushing that arm, she might be safe. But
Mhm.
as soon as you switch to that hand back hand to the back of the head,
Mhm.
man, all she did was just squeeze and be patient there.
Wow.
And that cost the fight. That was a rear naked
Wow.
choke.
And then Valentina, she tapped. She tapped. I'm like,
Yeah,
wow, holy moly, she
yeah.
tapped. That was so strong. That was so
That
strong.
was cool.
Wow,
Yeah,
wow, what a fight. What a fight. And then we
yeah,
had John Jones and Cyril Gain. That was quick. Is that how is that possible? Like John Jones just doing heavyweight, right? It's his first game.
yeah. First time. First time. So like that one
Mm.
right there is classic John Jones, man. Like he is literally, I feel like the best in the world. Like I mean, not the best. He is the best in the world, yes,
Right.
and the best of all time. You know,
Wow.
the only mess up he had was the downward elbow against Matt Hamill.
Mhm.
You know, and I feel, man, that just it sucks to see Gon kind of defeated there because I thought it was just going to be a really good fight
Yeah.
at first because of the movement and like he's going to be hard to track at the heavyweight level. But like John said, he's used to that speed and he's used to all that movement. And honestly, a great fight to kind of look back on.
Hmm.
Um, that he kind of like I probably look back on was Alexander Gustafsson, and the second time he beat him was kind of just like that. You know, he had to take him down and stuff like that. But obviously that fight was a little longer. But Gon just didn't have anything on the ground for John. You know.
Hmm.
Uh, and it was a great transition right to the guillotine. And he went straight for the guillotine. It didn't work, so he punched him a little bit, and then he popped his head up
Hmm.
and threw him right back under for the guillotine. And that's a perfect setup as far as a person that like loves chokes and is that loves jujitsu.
Wow. And then Cyril was it seems really surprised, right? Like
Yeah,
after he tapped, he like what just happened? You know.
yeah,
So John Jones he choked him, right? Like he put his hand like right on his neck, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then he basically it was a guillotine. It started as a one-handed guillotine, and then he connected his other hand. And
Mm-hmm.
usually that's classic John Jones. He did that against Lyoto Machida.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Trapped him against the fence, held him there for a second, and then just let him go. But this one was just on the floor. His feet were flat out.
Mm-hmm.
His chest, like his hips were straight into his chest. He can't move there. All you're gonna do is get struck, like either punched out or either choked, especially like leaving limbs out, and that just comes with the experience, though. You know,
Right.
that was great. It's great to see.
Wow, wow, what a fight. It was a great night. Like John Jones and then Alexa Grasso, that was wow, what a night. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Great fights. So
Yeah.
so what are some of your favorite, fighters, like, your inspiration, people you look up to, either in boxing or UFC or Jiu-Jitsu or MMA, people who give you the motivation, and inspiration.
So basically my where I kind of draw inspiration, like I said, I started in wrestling.
Mhm.
So at first it was like watching all those guys at first, and it was Bubba Jenkins, Kyle Dake, David Taylor, all these guys that were a little bit older than me.
Mhm.
Um, and then like me and my dad would sit down and watch fights and stuff like that. So we started with the backyard
Mhm.
like fights with Kimbo Slice, and then we started getting into the UFC stuff like that, and then we branched off into Pride, and that was the majority of me. Branched off into Pride, but the guys that kind of translated there was for me was like Vanderlei Silva,
Mhm.
Nogueira brothers. And then those were guys who were really good at jujitsu. And I found that I was like, man, I kind of really like this kind of stuff. So normally something usually goes to the ground and you need to handle yourself, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
But so the Nagaro brothers, and then when I transferred to UFC, I started watching like the WEC. I found Jose Aldo, right?
Okay.
So man, he is like up here to me, you know what I mean? Like I would
Wow.
love to meet him one day,
Wow.
but like he's just so technical boxing, and then he'll finish with a leg kick, and that's as far as stand up. And then also, oh man, one person that I really like, which translated later a little bit, because when I wrestled, I would do like Greco and freestyle, right?
Hmm.
So somebody I started watching was Randy Couture,
Okay.
right? So he's a super great Greco wrestler. He would have tight underhooks and everything else, and then just kind of grind on you the whole time. You know, he had that will to win. And that was honestly a really inspiring to see for me. I have Thiago Alves, you know, you have Thiago Silva,
Wow.
those guys. I was huge on the Brazilian guys because, you know, I've always like my first coach, Mike Rethmeyer, was uh, a black belt under Leo Peçanha, or um, pretty much like all Brazilian guys. So that's all I've ever kind of known as soon as I got into jujitsu.
Hmm.
Um, so that was like, and then my favorite jujitsu guy, like purely, was Rodolfo Vieira and Damian Maya.
Okay.
So like these are two polar opposite people. You know what I mean? One will like methodically like get you in certain positions and just like climb the ladder until he's choking you.
Hmm.
Or the other one, he's like blast doubling, passing, aggressive passing. Once he passes, he's gripping arms and just doing certain things like that, very explosive. Then he's also in the UFC as well right now. He has had a long career, and
Wow.
so is Damian Maia.
Wow.
So
So
those are some of my favorite fighters.
so your dad is the one who, give you the first motivation, like the fact that you watch these games with your dad. That's why you decide, hey, this is what I want to do when I grow up. Is that right?
Not necessarily. Not even like my dad, yes, he pushed me to be the best that in everything that I tried to do. You know, he inspired me a lot. And he would just feed me encouragement, and that's all I know.
Right.
And just to exhaust everything that I know, and just man, just go for it, you know, take risks and work hard at it, you know.
Right.
So that's how I got that. That's my inspiration in a way.
Right. But why
But as far
why
as me,
right, go ahead.
mm,
Go ahead.
as far as me getting into fighting, man, me and my friends, man, growing up, like I said, we did a lot of like fighting and like slap boxing and just like stuff me growing up and wrestling, just being boys, just rough, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, and basically it's just me just I wanted to wrestle.
Okay.
Like I found that that football wasn't gonna like work out for me as far as on the college level.
Mhm.
And I always wanted to be not a profile, a professional athlete. Um, and I basically wanted to like I wanted to wrestle and stuff like that. So I put all my heart into wrestling. And then I made it to nationals as far as like Greco, and did a lot of freestyle Greco tournaments and stuff like that. But I didn't have the money to go to college.
Okay.
And I didn't have the money to go to college, so I was like, you know what, I gotta stay busy just in case. And I had a like a halfway scholarship or a 50% scholarship to like they would give me like food and they would give me a room to stay, but I couldn't like honestly I didn't know how to do it honestly stay there, and I didn't know how college worked and stuff like that. But so I ended up going to SWIC for a little bit, so which is a community college,
Mhm.
And honestly, that burned me out right there.
You don't
Like,
like
like
it.
yeah, it was horrible. And I was wrestling. That was my Greco season, so it was either nationals or finals,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
And I chose finals. I mean, I chose nationals, but I didn't have the money to do so. So that honestly crushed my dreams, you know.
Right.
It didn't crush my dreams, but it crushed me a little bit. And to stay busy and stay in shape, I joined BJJ Lifestyle Academy,
Mhm.
and that's basically how I met Mike Rethmeyer, and we started just like going through it and doing jujitsu. And 2 months into jujitsu, I competed. I got second at a Chicago Open International, and then I was like,
Wow.
maybe I can do pretty good at jujitsu, you know. And
Okay.
then next thing you know, he had me fighting 4 months later, you know, in April. And I was like, and I think that was my first fight, like in April. I think it was April 12th on Horizon FC, something like that,
Wow.
against a guy that was like way more experienced than I was. You know? And it
Wow.
worked out for me.
Wow. So you have that fire, that drive. You wanna be the greatest, one of the greatest of all time. One of the oh,
I want
so
to be the best. I want
you
to be
want,
one of the best in the world.
yeah, you wanna be the best in the world. You have that fire. So yeah, it's a good feeling. You just wake up, you say, "Hey, I want to be a pro fighter, and I want to smash people." Like you
Pretty
remember you
much.
remember Habib and McGregor when he said, "Tomorrow I'm gonna smash your boy." So
Yeah.
you wake up, you say, "Your next fight, I'm gonna smash that guy."
Yeah, yeah, that's the mentality. The mentality is everything in this game. Promise you.
Wow.
So
But jiu-jitsu is basically, your main thing, with wrestling. So is that a good thing if you're a UFC fighter, a pro fighter, like to be really good on jiu-jitsu? Is that a good advantage like you have on your opponent?
most of the time,
Yeah.
most of the time, I can pretty much out wrestle a lot of guys. Like I mean, look at Bo Nickel. You know, he had his he was 4-0
Mm-hmm.
going to this fight. You know, as a pro, he
Mm-hmm.
was a D1 national champion all 4 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wrestling for me has been a very, very good tool to stay either on my feet or get it to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in able to use my jujitsu, I think it's the best tool to use,
Mm-hmm.
honestly.
Because someone told me that if you want to be a good UFC fighter, you gotta be wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and boxing, right? But the main two martial arts that you need to master is wrestling and jiu-jitsu. Those are really the foundation, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes, it does. I think it's a great base, and I have a really good base.
So you also do boxing, right? Like you also
Yeah. I do a little striking, do a little bit.
a little bit.
So I was training under Dewey Cooper for a long time, and my first coach at BJJ Lifestyle Academy, Morgan Freeman, he really like helped me. You know what I mean, as far as my striking. So it's like breaking out of like the street fighting mindset of things, and then when I moved to Dewey's, that really gave me that strong like very technical base that I've developed over the years.
Okay. So why jiu-jitsu? Why not karate, taekwondo?
Mm,
Why, you
Great
just
question.
focus on that martial art? Because
Mm,
if someone is new, it's very hard to choose. Say, okay, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do karate, taekwondo, but you're so
mm.
focused on jiu-jitsu, why that choice?
Well, I have wrestling, right?
Right.
So I'm like, okay, what's the what's the best way to finish someone? How do I even finish someone? You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, I have to lean more into jujitsu because they
Mhm.
know how to control someone on the ground or just create those opportunities. And then like that ball started rolling for me.
Oh. So your coaching style, obviously a great coach. I'm gonna share your Instagram, and then you're gonna share some of your videos. Um, so you're very, patient. You explain very well. You have that, very nice, good, beautiful smile. So what's your
Yeah.
coaching style, and where do you get that passion to teach?
The people that inspired me was the people that had patience with me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Patience in order to teach me certain things because honestly, I'm not the best learner. You know, I got a lot of that practice teaching kids.
Right.
You know, and that's my real passion in life as far as like just explain something that I care about to certain people. That way they can, take something from it and use it.
Right.
So that's
Right.
that.
That's great because if you can explain something to a kid, that means you can explain it to an adult. Because
Yeah.
if you want to teach children, you have to be really break it down, really break it
Yeah.
down, and be patient.
Yeah.
So, what's your
Yeah.
lifestyle like? Obviously, to be a pro fighter like you have probably a great lifestyle. Like, do you train every day at the gym? Do you do 5 days a week? How do you balance, your coaching schedule, your training schedule? How do you do recovery? What kind of food, healthy food you recommend, stuff like that.
So, man, that's a really tough, good question. I can go on and on about this because there's different stages in being a pro fighter, and I moved down here right before the pandemic, and I still was an amateur.
Mhm.
Um, Even though I was 6-1 as an amateur, it like I was trying to start that right away, and honestly, my training schedule was twice a day, every day, including Sundays.
Twice a day.
S
Wow.
7 going on 8 years, like consistently training, and that consistency is how I got here today. And training like that, I would work. Technically, I had 3 jobs at the time, but I always try to keep two
Hmm.
because I needed the money coming in, and I also had to live and eat. You
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
besides paying my gym bills and everything else.
Hmm.
And right there that's tough, you know what I mean? And
Hmm.
it's on. My weekend job was like busing, like at the restaurant, so doing dishes and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Well, after I did all that, you still had nightlife on the weekends, right? So nightlife is basically doing like security and bottle service and bar backing and stuff like that. So that's how
Wow.
on the weekends I made the money.
Do you have time for recovery? What you do for recovery? Do you do massage, or do the sauna, or what's
So like that being said, um recovery it's hard. So like so I try and take one day out of the week, which
mm,
is usually Sunday for me.
mhm,
And I try not to do a thing like at all, not even work.
mhm,
Um I would train like one day, I would train Saturday really light and easy,
mhm.
and then I would just rest the rest of the day and study. There's been a couple of times where I've tried cryo and I've tried other things, but I've never been super consistent with that kind of thing, just honestly speaking.
Okay. Wow. That's great. So it's a great schedule, by the way. About food, do you like recommend, healthy food for a pro fighter? Is that no fast food, no ice creams, or what is the life of a pro fighter, especially
Yeah.
when a fight is coming up?
So usually when I fight, like right now, I'm on a very, very strict, clean diet.
Okay.
8 weeks out, I can probably, give me some gummy bears and, eat a little ice cream. 4 weeks is when you need to just clean everything. You know what I mean? So like chicken, anything, steak, anything like that is super lean.
Hmm.
Make sure you're eating more veggies than you are protein. And then also making sure you're having the right amount of carbs.
Hmm.
A dietitian, her name's Javita,
Okay.
and she was amazing. when I tell you, like, she changed my whole body structure
Mhm.
and like, and telling me what to eat, what not to eat, stuff like that. And she really was like, um, saying to eat lean and stuff like this, but so you really don't need like bread and all these like, artificial things that come with that bread. So anything like yeast, like anything yeast based, cut it out. You know what I mean? Any like dairy, you don't need it. You know what I mean? So, like yogurt is okay. Um, like, once or twice, a week, but as soon as you start to break that 2 week, that 2 week barrier,
Mhm.
that cuts out. You know what I mean?
Right. So this is your Instagram. I have this video here. If you want to comment what you're trying to do here.
Yeah. So that one right there is just a straight arm lock, and I'm basically showing a variation of like what we were talking about that day is Kimura trap system, right?
Mm.
So that we kind of covered that whole thing. Right there, I'm explaining how to where to put my legs.
Mm.
For me personally, like I'm on the head, like and my knees pointed toward that body,
Mhm.
and me pulling that arm down to finish. I always finish on top. That key right there, Robert Drysdale has honestly taught me pretty well.
Mhm.
And Hanato Kunuto, as you can see that that's the way right there. So
Then uh, this video, I like it. You have it, you're doing a choke here.
yeah, hey there, Alexa Grasso, right?
This is so
That's
good.
pretty
Like,
much pretty much.
right, even for children, a kid's is trying to choke you here to finish it.
Yeah,
To finish it.
yeah, that's my man Madden, man. He's a very good friend of mine.
Is this choke like this a lock position? Can you get out this? Someone can get out this one? Or
Oh, can you get out?
no?
Yeah, sure. By
Yeah,
falling asleep.
yeah, you just fall asleep. So this
But
one, this is the finish.
yeah, so I was just being super detailed and making sure he can have that muscle memory to just like there, like boom, every side. You always want to train both sides. You never just want to train just one side.
So
Yeah.
here, March 11 with Lewis.
Yeah, yeah. March 11th, I'll be at the in Texas, Dallas, Texas, and we're gonna get it going, man. He's a striker, and I basically just have to handle my business and either get it to the ground and finish him on the strikes.
Right.
Um, I honestly don't mind where it goes, but that's that's all it is.
Right. Just like when you coaching us, you coach me obviously. So you just trust yourself, right? You are a great
Yeah,
fighter. You're in good shape. You have very good jujitsu. You
yeah,
know, just trust yourself and smash the boys, smash Lewis.
yeah. Smash. Yes, so I'm super happy. I'm super like I'm excited. I'm not overly excited, but I'm excited.
Wow, that's awesome. This is a seat belt or it's a choke?
Oh no, this is a head and arm choke from half guard. So I finished him from half guard,
Mhm.
and then I transferred over to the other side.
Mhm.
And right there I was driving my feet into the opposite side of his neck over there,
Mhm.
and my hands are under his shoulder. That's how I finished.
Wow, wow, this is awesome. Also, you
Yeah.
have some merch. Is this your merch? Did it change?
Yeah. Yeah. So my merch is at millions.com.
Mhm.
Our millions.co. You just type in my name, and one of my big sayings is "Be the change," and like that means a lot to me.
Right.
So I'm happy to do that. So
Great merch.
type in my
Actually,
name.
I like it. Did it change? This is awesome. This is
Yeah, thank you,
a
thank
great
you,
one. A great
thank
one.
you.
So for someone, a kids who look up to you, look for inspiration, say, Coach Orlando, I want to be a pro fighter. So what do you tell them? How to become a pro fighter for UFC or for any organization?
I would say, um, just believe in yourself
Right.
and take one day at a time, take one step at a time, and train and take inspiration. It's not going to be easy.
Mhm.
Nothing is given to you in this life. So please just stay humble, take it. As Khabib says, stay humble. You know what I mean? It's just, you know what I mean? So, and that's honestly the name of the game. You're trying to better yourself. Do this for you and do this for the people that you love. And that right there will drive you to do whatever you want to do, whether that be MMA or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, coach, this was really good. Yeah, I wanna hopefully get you sometimes. I know you have a very busy schedule, but I will definitely get you back here, talk more about fights, UFCs, inspiration,
Yeah,
motivation.
love to.
You are just a great human being. I don't know. Are you a spiritual person? Are you someone who do meditation? How's it?
Yeah,
So,
thank you. And
so
yeah,
you're
thank you. I'm super happy to honestly be on this. That keeps you, here
right,
because it's very, very like hard not to like get all like, yeah, I'm a pro fighter,
right.
stuff like that. But in all actuality, we're just people.
Obviously you're very disciplined. You're like you said, training 2 times a day. You work hard, but even with all of that, busy schedule, you still keep your smile, you happy. No one knows what's going on, but
Yeah,
you always have
it's
that.
yeah,
Always
it's so
positive.
hard. You have no idea it's hard, but take a minute, just smile. Sometimes that you're not smiling for yourself.
Right,
You're smiling for somebody else, or
right,
because you don't know what anybody else is going through. So that's why you treat people the way you
right,
feel like you want them to treat you.
right. Yeah, a great coach, a great mentor. You're mentoring kids. You're helping coaching people. Yeah, you are just a good positive force, and I think this, as you know, this is the beginning of the great career, the beginning of great things for you. So
God
we
willing,
so
yes,
we'll be
yes.
here. We'll be here. We are the big fans. We will be behind, shouting, supporting. Yeah. So I'm gonna let you go. Thank you so much, coach.
Awesome, indeed. Thank you for having me, indeed. Thank you.
Bye
Hey,
bye.
go
Bye bye.
follow this guy, subscribe, do whatever you got to do. Show him some love. Seriously.
Thank you, coach. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.